Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the Kreeger cast. I'm your host, Patrick Kreeger, and today I'll be taking you on a tour of South Coast Plaza at Christmas time. South Coast Plaza is like a late 1960s, early 1970s mall, but it is beautiful, glitzy, shiny, and clean, and during the Christmas season it becomes more magical, as they put up lights and plenty of things that twinkle and brighten your day. My family makes it a tradition every year to come out and look at their Christmas decorations. However, since it was late in the day, we started our journey at Seasons 52 to grab some food. Seasons 52 gets its name because it used to change its menu 52 times a year. However, now it only changes its menu 4 times a year, coinciding with each season. And they are very particular about their menu, including ingredients that are most common during that season. I ordered the wood-grilled hand-line tuna, and my father insisted that we get the whole roasted cauliflower. They have plenty of fantastic options, and their ambiance is that of kind of dark and moody and a little bit hipster. I think that they're very fairly priced, and it's a fantastic place to take a date. You can see by the shots that I'm taking that it's, a decent, nice, high-end restaurant. However, it oddly doesn't have the high-end price to boot. It has a fantastic bar that sometimes has a live pianist, if that's something you so desire. The cauliflower was absolutely fantastic. It was covered in cheese and coated in breadcrumbs, and was really a delightful experience. It was perfectly cooked, as you can see from the steam. Now, I had that tuna, but I had to make a couple changes to the tuna. I am allergic to cucumbers, so I had them take it off its traditional bed and put it on some roasted vegetables. And I'm allergic to lemons, so I had them replace the lemon sauce with an Asian sauce. And man, did it come out great. Now, my father ordered the shredded beef rib flatbread. You can get just about anything they serve there on a flatbread. The tuna was cooked absolutely perfectly, and was one of the most delicious pieces of tuna I've had in a long while. However, the vegetables were undercooked for my taste. They were not old, nor were they bad, but they were just a little undercooked for my taste. They're most famous, however, for these mini indulgences, these shot glass desserts. They used to claim that they were like 100 or 150 calories. They no longer do that, but they're rather delicious. They'll bring them to you, point out a whole bunch of varieties of them, and you can pick what you want from a tray. I had the raspberry cannoli, and it was fantastic, but the pecan pie is pretty good as well. It's now time to enter the mall. As you can see, they have a wreath over every major door. We went to Bloomingdale's first, and I will say this about Bloomingdale's. While they didn't really do a Christmas theme, they really did one fantastic job of doing a winter theme. Just about everywhere you looked, there was something sparkling or twinkling or reminding you of the Christmas winter season. One of the things that I think is always pretty interesting about Bloomingdale's is they have this giant bouquet vase of flowers at the front of their store. And this winter season was no different. They had a bouquet of, frost-covered flowers at the front of the store. However, some people left their drinks at the base of it, and I thought that was really impolite. It's now time to enter the mall. And as you can see, there's, what I will call garland hanging from every edge of the mall that makes anywhere you look magical and Christmassy and festive. And it's just fantastic to walk around a mall that is so themed. Now, you may have noticed there was a poinsettia in that last cut, but we'll get back to that in a moment. The garlands have plenty of twinkling lights, baubles, and poinsettias. Now, the poinsettias that are throughout the mall are in the place of their normal flowers and plants. This mall actually has a ton of plants in it, which is pretty awesome. And this time of year, they replace quite a few of the plants with poinsettias, and I just think that's a nice little change of pace. This mall is rather airy and open, and has a lot of cutouts from the second floor to the first floor. And if you look here, they have a Christmas display in this cutout. Now, they actually have a Christmas display in every cutout, and each wing of the mall is slightly different. This particular wing of the mall has these massive star things. They're pretty cool. Now, I did have to do some shopping while I was on this trip. I went to Papyrus to pick up some cards for Christmas. But when I got there, I noticed in their window they had these adorable hand-carved, hand-painted wooden music boxes. And one of them stood out in particular to me. This cute little dinosaur set. I just had to pick that up if it was available. However, lots of them were adorable, as you can see. When you went inside, they had a little display where you could listen to the music boxes before you purchased them. However, there were a ton of kids gathered around it, and I was only able to get this shot and was not able to pick up the music box I desired. So I needed to kill a little bit of time and thought I would do my card shopping. I picked up a card for my mother and a card for my father, and Papyrus just has fantastic cards. You will pay quite a bit for them, but they are gorgeous and worth it. They have a fantastic selection of Star Wars cards, in case you didn't know. I didn't know when I walked into the store. The kids moved on, and I was able to get over to the music boxes, and sure enough, they had one left of Dinosaur Land, or as they call it, Rock of Ages. Now, at the very center cutout of the mall, there is Santa's workshop. It's normally where our merry-go-round is, but this time of year, the merry-go-round is shoved to the side, and Santa gets center stage. The merry-go-round, however, is still there and has a special Christmas overlay. Typically, the merry-go-round has a ton of different horses on it, and as you can see, we still have the horses on the walls with little Santa hats on, but the merry-go-round is now filled with reindeer and Santa's sleigh. I think that's really a delightful thing that our mall does, and it's wonderful. However, on a less wonderful note, next to our Starbucks is Sears. Now, this is my personal Sears that I used to shop at for years. And as you know, Sears is going out of business, so I thought I would take one last walk through Sears to say goodbye. As you can see, store closing, everything's on sale. It's weird seeing all these disheveled mannequins all throughout the mall. Well, not through the mall, but through Sears. And the way they have all the clothing laid out, just as eerie and sad. And look at all the fixtures, the way they're broken down and being replaced. It's not exactly the Christmas spirit you were looking for when you walked into Sears. I bought just about every tool in my tool chest from this particular Sears back when they still made Craftsman in the United States. And I did pick up this particular dress form for my future store that I'll be opening. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the overlays that the different stores did. As you saw, that was Uggs, and this is Rolex. I had to ask Rolex permission. I'm not sure what this store was, but I did like their Christmas spirit, so I had to include them. Now, Cartier really outdid themselves, and you know you're at Cartier when you see the wall that gives people headaches. I really thought their little subtle Christmassy themed displays were quite cute, and they're the type of thing you can watch, like the old window displays of yore. But Nathan Allen, on the other hand, went all out with their winter display, and I thought that was particularly cool. Now, at one end of the mall, we have the South Coast Plaza Christmas tree, which is the largest indoor Christmas tree I know of, and might be one of the largest around. It stands over 3 stories tall and stretches all the way up into the skylight. And I just think it's stunning, and if you go to South Coast Plaza this time of year, it is a must-see. A less impressive tree, but still quite beautiful, is this Christmas tree I found that was made up of poinsettias. See, they have a whole poinsettia thing going on here at South Coast. And this particular wing of the mall had these jellyfish of baubles, and I just thought they were particularly cool the way they hung and dazzled. It's the corner of the mall over at Saks Fifth Avenue. And here's a close-up of one of those jellyfish. Macy's, unlike Sears, seems to be doing okay. And they have a nice little Christmas thing going on. Now, at South Coast Plaza, this is my favorite thing. It is this gorgeous fountain. And it's always running right. It's always clean. And it sounds like burbling water. And people throw pennies into it. And you really gotta go and look at it if you're walking around South Coast Plaza. Maybe even throw in a penny and make a wish. It is right below one of the cutouts, as you will now see. I just really think that this particular mall has a nice, bright, airy feel to it. And, of course, more poinsettias. I've always thought that this particular wheelchair ramp was one of the more interesting features at the mall. I don't know why, but I've always thought so. Now back to Santa's Village. Santa's Village has this mountain on the back side of it, and there's a ton of detail going on in it. You see, of course, Santa flying there in his sleigh. You see the little Santa Fe Railroad train chugging along. Notice the perspective. Things get smaller as they get higher, and I just think that's particularly cool. But there's so many little moving, intricate pieces that while the kids are waiting in line, they can, watch. I love the little G-scale train there with Santa as conductor. If you'll notice in a moment, I think it's doing like an S-track as it goes into the mountain, then comes out of the mountain, then goes back in. There's just all sorts of little details, so you can, take a look at it. And these little cable cars are just adorable for some reason to me. Now, one thing I've always found weird about South Coast Plaza, it has a balloon salesman. Now, it always has a balloon salesman. And this year, they have these weird little, pet animal balloons, because that's apparently now a thing. Buzz Lightyear in the traditional, 1990s Toy Story packaging. And they always sell wooden toys. Every Christmas, they sell wooden toys. And here's a close-up of those reindeer. And more of that garland on our merry-go-round. Now, one interesting thing about Santa's workshop is they have these little vignettes of elves working. It's in the waiting line so that the kids have kind of something to look at while they're waiting. I just think that's kind of a neat thing that they do. And I've always found their fake snow rather nice. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this adventure through South Coast Plaza. And until next time, see you out there.